Hello, everyone. We're gonna give it maybe 30 seconds to let everyone trickle in. I'm planning to. I'll give you a little quick rundown of On24 and all of the different boxes and windows that you see. But thank you for being here. I'm super excited for this. It should be a really great session. Um, I mean, if you've been to Linnworks webinars before, you know that there's the Q&A box, and so please ask questions. But we'll get started here in about 20 seconds or so. Just as some housekeeping items. So in On24, you have the various boxes that you see. So you see the slides. You should see Linnworks 101, an introduction to the platform. That's what we're covering today. You should see my beautiful face. You can definitely minimize that if you don't want to see it. But when we get into the demo piece, the platform is going to come up over my face. So don't minimize it too much, because you'll need to you're going to want to see the platform, and that's where the screen comes up to show the platform itself. We have the Q&A section where please post questions at the end of the demo. You'll be able to, we'll go through some of the questions, and then any questions we don't answer, myself and the team, we will take those and get answers back to everyone. Last but not least, in the top right, we have some resources that are available. Please feel free to download those, and those are good assets to keep handy around what is Linnworks. But let's jump right into this. So again, thank you all for being here. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone. What we're going to cover today, we're going to talk about Linnworks. This is a very intro level session. What we really wanted to do is bring up the platform and show the platform and show the value that the platform brings to all of our customers around the world. So we're going to go through the screens, the clicks, the buttons, but I'm going to do my best to tie it to your business, to how Linnworks helps sellers sell better online, and then of course grow, automate, and be in control. So a little bit about me. So I'm Matt Heitzer. I lead up our solution engineer team. I've spent my career in e-commerce and been at Linnworks for the last 2 years. And I joined Linnworks because of what it does for online sellers and the e-commerce market in general. It is the connectivity piece out to sales channels, to marketplaces, but then back in the operational, it automates the operational tasks that a seller needs to do, whether it's picking and packing or order routing. And we're going to cover that all today. And you can see I geek out around this stuff. I love technology and what it does to solve business challenges. So let's jump right in. Let's see it in action. Now, what's cool about this session is we went through the intro, but now we're going to switch over to the demo part. Now, the full webinar, including the intro and the Q&A section at the end, will be available to anyone who wants to see this, but the specific demo piece is also going to be available. And so right when I share my screen, you'll also have the recording of just the demo piece, which you can come back and review, which would be great. So remember, I'm going to share my screen. The platform is going to overtake my screen, which is probably a good thing, and we're going to jump right into it. There we go. So everyone should see our channel integration screen in the Linnworks platform. So now the Linnworks platform is purpose-built. It is a central platform to manage your inventory, manage your orders on a multi-channel, multi-fulfillment level. We allow our customers to connect to sales channels to wherever your customers are purchasing. So wherever your buyers are, whether they're shopping on Amazon, on eBay, on Walmart, on the web stores like Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Linnworks connects, and we support these connections to all of your sales channels. We have hundreds of integrations to these sales channels, whether that's the web stores, whether it's social channels like buy on Google, whether it's discount, eBay is a big one. We have Etsy. Now I could go down this list. We also have an integration to Miracle. So Miracle is a marketplace builder, meaning that retailers are building their marketplaces using the Miracle platform. And that way we can connect in to manage inventory and orders. We can also share a list of all of the available channels, but I did want to scroll through just to show how you as a seller can connect into all of these sales channels, but still have a central platform to manage the operational tasks that come from selling everywhere that your customers are. So once our channels are connected, we flip over to our inventory. So now these are the products that you're selling. So it's the SKUs that you have, it's the stock levels that you have. So this availability number, which is just the difference of your total stock level and anything in an open order, this availability number, that is what is pushed in real time to all of your sales channels. So if I sell something on Amazon, I can't sell that same product on my Shopify site or my eBay channel. Linnworks is doing the heavy lifting and the automation to save you time from manually having to manage this in spreadsheets potentially, or having to upload and download from 20 different sales channels. Let Linnworks be the engine around keeping your inventory in sync. Within a given SKU, this is where, in addition to keeping track of the quantity that you have, you can also store your product information. Now, this is everything from titles and barcodes and prices, as well as postage definitions, images. You can even store listing descriptions. So that would be your different titles, different prices, different descriptions per channel. And we'll talk about this here in a second when we talk about listing and management of that. You can store your supplier data. So now this is where you would go and replenish your stock. You need to know potentially lead times. How long does it take to get more stock in? You have purchase prices. Of course, we're a global company and we can handle multi-currency. And then we have pack sizes and minimum order quantities. That's on the purchasing and supply chain side. Then we have our extended properties. So this comes in handy again, which is what we'll talk about with our listing capabilities. But this is all of your product attributes: sizes, colors, manufacturers, instructions, lengths. Everything you see here, you can use this data to represent your products out on your sales channels. Then you get into the warehouse. So now you can also store a bin rack location for each of your items. So if you imagine orders come in, you need to know where this item is in the warehouse, so you're not walking and wasting time trying to figure out where that item exists. You want to be able to go right to the location, pick the item, so you're as efficient as possible. Now, other types of SKUs that can be stored, of course, we have our variations. So that would be parent and child SKUs. The parent SKU it has its set of data, and the child SKUs inherit that data. But maybe like this here, we have our different sizes and colors of shirts. The other type of SKU is what we call a composite SKU, and that's our kits and our bundled SKUs. So now you can have a single SKU that you sell out on your sales channels, but when an order comes in, you are effectively selling the proportionate quantity of these individual components. So you can think about your 12 packs or your 50 packs, or you could have your kits of 4 different components that make up a single SKU that's sold at a discounted price. That's what our bundles and kits, and it comes in handy when you're trying to manage quantities and inventory for these items. That's the inventory piece, but then on top of that, you can manage this inventory on a multi-fulfillment, multi-location basis. So now you see drop down for all of our locations. That includes third-party locations. That includes an FBA location. So Linnworks is connected into Amazon. We're pulling the available stock levels that sit in your FBA at Amazon. We also have connectivity to 3PLs. So again, fulfillment partners, we're pulling in the inventory. We know what sits in your third-party fulfillment location. And of course, similar to that, we have our supplier drop ships. When you have your vendors, your suppliers fulfilling orders on your behalf. So they are storing the inventory, but you are managing that inventory out on the various sales channels. So we talked about the product information for each of your SKUs. Now, a huge time saver that Linnworks offers is the ability to list your products to your sales channels. And what we mean by that is pushing the data from Linnworks from a central location, instead of having to log in to 20 different channels to update your titles and descriptions and images. So we can take a set of products here, let's say, and we can come and we can create our listings on Amazon. So you see here in Linnworks, you can build out these Amazon templates. So we're pulling in the necessary and required data from Amazon. We're linking it to what exists in Linnworks. So we have our title, we're using a UPC identifier, we're mapping to the Amazon browse node. So this item is going to be logged in the right Amazon category. And then off of that, there are required attributes from Amazon, whether it's a brand or a color or a manufacturer. This data lives in Linnworks. And so now you don't have to do this in 10 different channels. You do it in Linnworks in a consistent way. So I can create these listings out on my Amazon channel. And then in a very consistent way, I can come over here to my next channel and I can create the same listing using the same data. Now I can represent these listings differently, of course. Maybe I want a different price or a different title, but I have the flexibility to build these out the way I want. I'm doing it from the Linnworks platform. I'm not having to log into different systems just to update information. It saves a ton of time. It really streamlines how you advertise your products on your sales channels. So if we go back to the inventory screen, there's the listing piece. So it's saving time by making sure your product pages are active, you have the right titles and descriptions and pricing information. The availability, so your quantities are constantly updating on these channels, which allows you to then spend time doing important things like forecasting. And so Linnworks has the ability to look at how each of these items are selling. So that's the consumption rates of how these items sell over a period of time. We default to, I think, 90 days, but you can update that. So maybe you want to see, how did this item sell for the last 7 days? And then we can use these consumption, we can use the historical sales of these items in parallel with the supplier lead times, with any minimum levels, to ultimately get to a predicted reorder amount. So you can see here that we're looking at the historical data in order to predict how this item is going to sell on a daily basis, which then leads to the calculated reorder quantity. In this case, it's 140. And that's going to cover the predicted sales so that you can optimally keep your warehouse in stock. You don't have too much inventory, but you're not also overselling or going out of stock too quickly. And that's the beauty of our forecasting. You can get these reorder amounts, including a reorder date, which again includes that supplier lead time. And what you can do off of that is you can come in, select your items that you want to restock, and come in, and now you can create a purchase order. So now getting into the supply chain side to replenish that stock. So now you can see here, there's two different suppliers here. So we're going to create two separate purchase orders. Of course, it looks like we have some pending purchase orders already created, but I'll just go ahead and update. Maybe I want to order 100 more of each of these. And now I can create this purchase order and manage it within Linnworks. So if you think about your whole inventory management flow of looking at what you have in stock now, the predicted demand, and then how do I reorder or replenish the stock I need so that I can meet that predicted demand. All of that whole task can be done in Linnworks very, very efficiently. So you see here, we've got our purchase order that we've created, our two line items with our quantities, pack sizes. In addition to that, purchase orders sometimes have extra costs. So whether there's shipping or customs or any other fees associated with a purchase order, that can be added into what you're tracking in the system here. And of course, that gives you your subtotals, shipping, taxes, all of that is taken into consideration so that when you deliver on this purchase order, I'll go ahead and open this. So when this purchase order gets delivered and into inventory, the cost, the unit cost plus any of the extra other costs here, that's what gets booked in as the inventory value. So it's incredibly important to track that value because that's an asset. And you want to make sure that you're not overspending or overstocking the shelves because that takes on more cost. So you can see here, I can come in here, I'm going to deliver all of these items. Now you see that we can put them away in the right bin rack location. So getting into the warehouse a little bit. We're going to deliver everything we have, which then books this into inventory. And if we go back to our My Inventory screen, you see that we now have more available. Of course, that's going to trigger an update to each of your sales channels because now for this item, I've got more in stock. So I want to represent that accurately on my sales channel so customers can continue to place orders. Now that is the inventory management, the supply chain, the forecasting pieces. That's what I would bucket into our inventory management capabilities, as well as we talked about the product information. So managing the listings, managing your channels and the products that you're advertising on those channels. That's our product information or product data management. And so the last core piece of Linnworks is the order management. So now you're ensuring that you have enough stock to sell on all of your channels. You're selling each of your products, you're understanding your consumption. Now it's really about having a central place again. You see that that's a theme, a central place control of all of the orders being placed out on those channels. These orders are going to funnel into Linnworks and you're going to see them in your open orders view. Again, this is broken down. So you have, Amazon orders next to Shopify orders and all of your channel orders. You also have it broken down again by your warehouse locations. So your FBA orders are going to be in your FBA location. You'll have records of those. You could have some orders that automatically download into maybe a 3PL location. And we'll talk about some of the order routing capabilities here in a second. But you see here, we have all of our order data. So we have the channel it came from. We have the date it was placed, the items in the order. We've also linked this item again, to the bin rack location. So if you're going to fulfill this order in your warehouse, you know exactly where to go pick the item. We have our shipping, the customer information, and of course our total tax and any discounts are going to be tracked here. This last column here is super handy because now we're going in and looking at what's in the warehouse. And so you can see that we can fulfill this order. But if we scroll down far enough, you're going to see that there's different statuses here. You see for this order, we don't have enough in stock, and so we can't fulfill this. And that's super useful because now you can sort and filter on these statuses, so you can group orders together, and you'll know right away of what you can and can't fulfill. But if we get into some of the other order management tasks that we can do, I always love to come to the rules engine. Now, if we talked about being able to be in control. You have a central place, a source of truth for all of your orders and inventory information. And now, because you have that and you're not manually having to update things across all of these channels, you can focus on automating pieces of the business. And that's where the rules engine comes into play. So as an example, and one of my favorite rules is something like a warehouse allocation rule. So now I have multiple warehouses that can fulfill my orders. Now with no code, with no development work or anything, I can build out these logical flows, and these rules are going to automatically execute on every order that comes into Linnworks. So I can build out a rule. This is an example. So for an order that comes in, I'm going to look at the shipping address, and if it's being shipped to the United States, then I'm going to go to this next set of rules. In this case, I'm going to look at the postal code. Now, again, I'm in Richmond, Virginia, so my postal code starts with a 2. And so if I ordered something, as the seller that's going to ship this product to Virginia, I probably want my East Coast warehouse to fulfill this. I'm going to save in shipping costs. I'm going to get it to Virginia faster than if I fulfilled it from another warehouse location. And that's an example of a rule that could be built out to save time, to save costs. And you're not having to manually look at every order and figure out, oh, Matt in Virginia ordered this. That needs to go to my East Coast warehouse. Let Linnworks do the heavy lifting. Let it programmatically route these orders. Or potentially on the shipping side, let Linnworks programmatically assign shipping services to your orders. So now this is looking at, where did the order come from? Did it come from Amazon, or did it come from eBay? Is it being shipped to the UK? Is it being shipped to a European zone based on certain countries or certain regional conditions? And then finally, we're looking at the dimensions and the weight of the order, because that's going to determine how we assign shipping to that order. So I hope you're starting to see that you can let the automation power of the rules engine take some of the manual tasks out and programmatically assign shipping or assign orders to locations, action these orders without you having to intervene. So back on the open order screen, every order is going to run through that rules engine. It'll get shipping assigned, or potentially it'll move to the right fulfillment location. Now, if you're doing third-party fulfillment, you're doing fulfillment through Amazon, those orders will be synced over to that third-party system. When the order is fulfilled, the tracking number, the shipping service, the processing status is going to come back to Linnworks, and that will process the order in Linnworks. Now, if you're fulfilling yourself in your own warehouse, Linnworks offers the management tasks, the fulfillment tasks to fulfill these orders in the warehouse. I can group orders together. I can select all my orders. I can come in. I can print my pick lists. I can print my shipping labels. I can go through and I can even with the shipping services, I can rate shop and I can get quotes, so I can look at what is the cheapest service that I have available for a given order. I can even start digitally picking. I can use my barcode scanner. I can use the Linnworks mobile app to go through a full digital scan, pick, pack, and ship process. Other actions and other useful actions also gets down into what if I have an order for 10 items, but I can only fulfill 5 right away because the other 5 are out of stock? Linnworks allows for split orders. So now I can split the order in Linnworks. This order, it has the same channel reference. So when everything gets fulfilled, it always rolls back up to the single order in the channel. But in Linnworks, you can treat these as separate orders. So I can fulfill what I can fulfill now, and then I potentially have to wait until I get more stock in to fulfill the rest. But again, it's not going to slow down order fulfillment. You're going to keep your customers happy by fulfilling what you can as quickly as possible. I talked about the mobile app. Something in packing in the warehouse. So I'm going to go to that bin rack location. I'm going to scan my item. It's going to show up as picked, and that's what the status you see here is, that this order is in a pick wave. So now my picking team in the warehouse is able to efficiently walk around the warehouse floor and pick all the items that are needed for these orders. Then it goes to the packing bench, in which you can come in and potentially use our dispatch console. So again, I can scan an order ID, I can scan an item, but ultimately, so if we grab this order here, that's the order that we want to process. It's going to pull up our dispatch console. I can adjust the shipping. You see that I've forced an item scan. I can go through and print my labels, print my invoices, potentially split packaging if it's a big item or there's multiple components within the order. I have my weight, packaging and dimensions, tracking number, but ultimately I can process this order. So, and then once orders are processed, whether it's from a 3PL or FBA or in your own warehouse, that dispatches back to the channel that the order came from. So it processes the order out on Amazon or eBay or Shopify or BigCommerce or any of the channels. Right here is also where you can set up your own dispatch notifications. Now, this would be the email that potentially the seller would send the customer to say, hey, I've completed your order. Here's the address, the method that I used. You can build out these templated emails in Linnworks. Now, the channel might also offer that, in which you just dispatch it to the channel and you're good to go. All right. Lots of automation, lots of efficiencies when you go through the process, whether you're digitally scanning or you're printing your labels in bulk or you're using the rules engine to save time and to save manual effort by programmatically assigning shipping or moving orders to different locations. Now, the last piece that I want to talk about is the shipping. So similar to our channels, Linnworks is also integrated with a global set of shipping services. So we have, in the States, FedEx, UPS, USPS, there's Royal Mail and DPD. And again, we can send you a list of all of the available shipping services. So these are either direct integrations to the carrier itself, or if we scroll down, we also have connections into aggregators like an Easy Post or an Easy Ship that offer a lot of other services as well. And then finally, Linnworks also connects into ShipStation, to which you can sync orders to ShipStation, print your labels, manage your shipping, and that information syncs back automatically. Okay. Now, I know that was a lot. We covered everything we started with the channel integrations. So integrating to everywhere that your customers are making purchases. Then we talked about our inventory. So managing stock levels, managing your product data and your listings out on your channels, managing bundles and kits. We talked about forecasting and then replenishing stock through purchase orders. We talked through orders. So we talked through your sales orders, central place to either route orders to the right fulfillment location or go into the warehouse and pick, pack, and ship your items all within Linnworks. And then also use the power of the rules engine to programmatically, to automatically do some of these tasks so that you don't have to. And with that, that is the end of everything that I wanted to show. Of course, there's probably a lot of questions, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So now we're going to go into our Q&A. But I do want to just summarize just a little bit. So I think we all can agree that there's a huge opportunity to grow your business online. But more specifically, what I mean by that and what Linnworks means by that is selling in a multi-channel world. We have the social commerce channels, rapidly gaining traction, whether it's Facebook and Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest. Those are channels that customers are making purchases through. You have your big marketplaces, Amazon, eBay, Walmart, and there are a lot of others. You need to be selling on those channels as well because they have a huge customer base that are making purchases. And then you have your web stores. You have Shopify and BigCommerce and Magento. And so, and those they're great selling channels as well, to where you need to represent your products and your prices. And with all of that said, that yes, there's a huge opportunity to grow your business online in all of these channels. But if you have inefficiencies and you have manual processes, it can make this very difficult. It's hard to make sure that inventory is represented accurately on every channel. It's hard to manage your orders across all of these channels and assign shipping or maybe get it to the right fulfillment location. That's where you can automate these operations with the help of Linnworks. So whether it's the rules engine, whether it's bulk actions like printing your labels or getting in the warehouse and picking your items using a barcode scanner. Ultimately, you're going to connect your commerce technologies and control that operation. Again, this is the theme that I think I keep saying. It's the central platform. It's the central engine that runs your whole total commerce business, and it's one integrated back-end solution. Okay, thank you so much. I know that was a lot, and now I'm going to get to the questions. So let's see. So back, the first question I see, the puzzle piece back in the menu. So the puzzle piece, that's actually our app store. So speaking about connectivity, we also have an incredible partner community of applications and integrations that live in our app store. And so that could be things like advanced stock forecasting with Inventory Planner, customer service with ReplyCo, shipping solutions and 3PLs, ShipBob and Ruby Has, and that's where our connections and our apps live that connect into Linnworks and that you can use in your Linnworks account. Let's see, a couple other questions here. Can purchase orders only be sent via email, or does it also work for suppliers on AliExpress, Fair, and Anchor Store? That's a good question. So right now you can do it two ways. You can email a purchase order to your supplier through the platform, through our email templates and everything. You can also export that data and then send it to your suppliers however they would like to receive it. But that's a good question. Now, and maybe that also jogs another good comment to make about Linnworks, in that the platform is incredibly flexible. So yes, we send purchase orders via email natively, but that's not to say that we couldn't extend the platform to cover a different way of connecting. So maybe it's an API integration to a Fair, or an AliExpress, or another set of maybe dropship partners, or something like that. The platform is it's API built, it's open API, and again, if you want that documentation, we're happy to send that over. So we're always extending and automating different pieces of the platform to even further enhance our customers' businesses. Let's see. Another good question. So what kind of support do you offer? So we pride ourselves on support. So initially, we like to help onboard our customers. So we offer onboarding, where you would get a dedicated implementation specialist that's going to train you in how to use Linnworks. And then once you're live and everything's been tested, then we have 24/7 global support. Because we're a global company, we have support teams in the US, the UK, and also Estonia. And so it's chat, email, phone. I promise you'll be able to get in touch with us. But that's a great question around, there's the platform, but then there's the solution and the product of Linnworks. So thank you for that question. I think maybe we'll do one more. Does Linnworks integrate with accounting platforms? Another great question. So I think Sage was called out, and I've been across QuickBooks and Xero, and then you get into the big ERP worlds of the Oracles and SAPs and Dynamics. And so Linnworks does connect. Through our open API, or simply exporting data out of Linnworks. So sales orders, purchase orders are exported out of Linnworks and connected to a Sage or a QuickBooks. And so we do offer that accounting connectivity. Linnworks itself is not a financial backend, and so there is that distinction in that. For the accounting piece, we rely on our connectivity to these other platforms. But good question there. Question around implementation and onboarding. Good question. So of course it will depend on the size of the operation. So if you have 40 sales channels and 20 fulfillment partners, that it's going to take the time just to get everything set up. But generally, on average, I would say 6 to 8 weeks is a good onboarding. So that would be a training session, 1 or 2 training sessions a week, and that would to train you in how to set up your products, connect into your channels, start downloading, managing orders, connect into your shipping solutions, and testing those connections. But 6 to 8 weeks is a good estimate for when our clients are going live with Linnworks. And then let's see what if there's maybe one. Thank you for posting these. These are great questions. So I think there's a question about parent and child SKUs. So let's see, sitting under that parent SKU and child SKU sitting under that can be created even if they are from completely different product ranges. So we talked about our bundles and kit SKUs. So that's one parent and child relationship. Then we also have our variations, in that you can have, I sell T-shirts, and then underneath those T-shirts, I've got maybe my brand and my color and my size, and so those can all share the parent the T-shirt data. So if that's the clothing type, or the some of the attributes of the parent. But yes, they can be from different product ranges as long as they have the same parent variation. I hope I answered your question. If there's more details on that, we can obviously get in deeper on that. And then I think, yeah, this is this is probably a perfect last question to end on. So the session will be recorded, right? It's a lot to process. Perfect last question. So yes, the session, so this whole webinar will be recorded, but then on top of that, remember the demo piece of when I started in the platform to when I ended, that will also be available on demand as its own asset. So watch the demo and then watch the full, looks like we've gone about 40 minutes or so, watch the full 40-minute. And then, of course, if there are any other questions, we are excited to talk to you, and we're here for you. But thank you so much. This was awesome. And we're going to be hosting these demo style webinars once a month going forward. So each one will be have its own flavor, but we want to show the platform off, because yes, it can be a lot to process, but it's so valuable and so critical to this new sell everywhere and sell better market that we live in. So thank you so much. Thank you for the questions, and we'll see you next time.